Allez, on se tait.
Tu m'entends quand je mange?
Non.
Well,
Oh!
Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then. Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah,
Faut faire Minecraft, j'ai pas acheté un compte pour rien.
but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please.
J'ai perdu mon compte Minecraft, je sais pas comment, mais mon petit frère il m'a dit qu'on a perdu le compte.
Tu veux me dire que j'ai acheté un compte justement pour qu'on ait enfin plus de problèmes et que j'ai lâché 10 € pour rien?
Step inside and
Non, 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 non. Tu vas pas t'en sortir comme ça.
J'ai pas skip, le code il a disparu, je sais pas pourquoi.
Bah, mot de passe
Bah à
oublié.
mon avis peut-être je vais en racheter un. Ouais.
Mot de passe oublié.
T'as vu qu'on l'a pas essayé ou quoi?
Bah oui, vous êtes ravagé, vous.
Non, c'est vraiment le compte qui a disparu, à ce qu'il peut. Je sais pas, j'ai pas capté. On m'a dit ça a disparu. Ça a littéralement disparu.
Peut-être que vous êtes fait hacker. C'était un compte Mojang ou un compte mail? Parce que moi, le mien, par
Mojang,
exemple.
voilà, ouais, c'est un Mojang justement, c'est pour ça je pense.
Ah, parce que le mien, c'est un mail, tu vois. C'est mon compte Bilal HDI, là. Eh bah, il est dedans. C'est celui-là. Mais vous, c'est Mojang, ça. Je sais pas.
make yourself comfortable.
Si je rentre, il va jamais nous refaire sortir, hein, je te parie. Il a trop la haine. Est-ce que je rentre, mec?
Bon,
Il va nous baiser, hein. Je peux même...
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
là, elle fait chemin là, ouais.
Il y a même la petite musique.
Mm.
Je peux même pas sauter, ça doit être chaque fois que je tombe.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Mais non, vu que... T'entends? Il y a des claviers.
C'est lui qui est en train de faire.
Elle est longue, hein, ça commence slash give torch.
Oh, no, 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 no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Il a craqué, hein. Ça, c'est Portal?
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go.
Tu te rappelles Portal 2, mec? T'as pas envie de te rappeler, c'est différent.
Ah, mec, j'ai un truc dans mon
Mais
lit
non,
là.
on a jamais fait Portal 2, toi et moi. C'était avec mon pote. Bah oui, mec. Ça me...
Je te même avec ce jeu, il te rappelle trop de souvenirs, il faut pas, c'est dangereux ce genre de jeu.
Là, j'ai eu trop de choses là qui sont revenues. Espèce enculé, même pas 7 €.
Ah, trop cher, mec, trop cher.
Ah, mais pour acheter 3 fois d'affilée le même jour de la bouffe, ah là, Non, il faudrait y jouer,
Hier,
vraiment.
j'ai acheté des skins sur Valo, mais
Tu sais que de toute
disons.
façon, si, voilà, elle est sur la liste, t'es fini. Elle est sur la liste. T'as plus rien à faire. Mais mec, faudrait, c'est trop bien.
T'as pris sur le test note ou quoi? Moi, on va y jouer un jour. Peut-être.
Arrête, regarde. Tout ce qu'il y a là, tu sais qu'on va y faire. Même, regarde, Ma-
Jouons au jeu d'abord.
Minecraft, on l'a fait. Il y a que ça que on sait que c'est certain, ça va jamais arriver. On le fait tous un par un.
Allez, jouons au jeu.
Le seul fait que l'ordre n'est pas suivi, c'est parce que j'attends qu'il y ait les cracks dessus ou qu'il faut les payer. Du coup, ça, j'attends qu'il y ait le crack et tout, etc. Mais tu sais qu'on va le faire. Voilà, t'es fini. C'est fini. T'es fini. On va y jouer.
Hell, this is.
Ça, c'est Portal 1 peut-être.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Voilà, ça te fait une démo du jeu.
Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think
Mais mec, c'est abusé de base le jeu. On était dans un bureau et là, je joue à Portal.
that's plenty. I really don't care much to
C'est
see you
juste des
stumble
portes.
through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up inside you for all eternity. I don't need your advice. I don't need your ratings. And I certainly don't need the validation of a man whose job is to push buttons. I think I'll just go about my business, making meaningful cultural contributions to the world. And perhaps every now and then I'll think back to a man named Stanley who was objectively wrong in every decision he ever made. The thought won't last long. Goodbye, Stanley. Good luck with your work, and I sincerely hope that everyone lives happily ever after.
Ah ouais? C'est fini. C'est fini. On l'entend plus. Ça va, t'es là?
Mhm.
Mec, je comprends plus.
Inception, le truc.
De quoi?
Inception. Ah, c'est
Inception?
Inception.
Ah, je... L'autre il s'est barré. Il nous a abandonnés.
Je me sens seul sans
On
lui.
sait même plus discuter. Ce bourreau nous a lâchés. Il veut plus nous marcher. Seul dans ce monde. Les yeux face au sol. Je ne sais que me regarder. Face au miroir brisé. En fait, à chaque fois que je fais gauche, ça fait des clics de souris.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once
J'aime
this
bien, il est trop fier
ends,
de ce
after it
truc.
all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Fake.
Attends 2 secondes.
Quoi? 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 Je te dis quoi?
Bien.
C'est bon?
Ouais,
T'as fait quoi?
je vais redémarrer le
Psst,
begin.
putain. Mais du coup, si on l'écoute pas
All of his
depuis le
co-workers were
début,
gone. What could it mean?
on se retrouve à
Stanley
jouer à
decided to
Portal
go
2.
to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
C'est ce
missed a
qu'on a
memo.
fait.
Il a rage quit, quoi.
Ouais, il a resqué, il en a eu marre. Vas-y, viens, on écoute que ce qu'il dit là. Je suis curieux de voir. Et après, on fera attention, le jeu il tourne en boucle, je pense.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
On va voir si son jeu en valait la peine au final.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Quoi?
Genre, il va dire, il est allé voir ça pour trouver. Hein?
Ouais, il allait ici, il a trouvé que personne, et il allait voir le bureau de son boss là. Et là, je dois aller dans le bureau de son boss. Ah ouais.
Le stock model, ils sont morts rare.
Number of slide of this slide. Slides, chart and slides, chart. Super. Is the which ça? Pouah.
A lot of.
Il y en a trop.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Ta gueule.
Et là, je m'enferme. Et là, il va péter un câble.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
T'entends les clics de souris? Les clics de clavier? Ça, c'est pas mal.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Ah là, on va rester jusqu'au bout. Tu sais que là, je suis prêt à croire qu'il va nous reset le jeu hein, pour qu'on recommence carrément.
Bon, si.
Mais là, ça fait longtemps qu'il parle plus.
Ah, il va craquer un moment, c'est sûr.
Allez, on sait que t'as envie. Je crois qu'il y a vraiment plus rien. Hein.
Yeah.
Tu vas attendre encore?
Vas-y, on sort.
Au pire, j'ai une idée. On va faire exactement comme lui. Dear the Bloom Crescent Candy, the Bloom Crescent Candy was my favorite XD. Of more commentary. Ouais, voilà. C'est pas vraiment une ending vu que ça se finit pas. Ouais, bien. Voilà, the another goes silent. And then we come to supposition. Attends, comment ça un deuxième joueur?
Non, mais si tu restarts, tu vois.
Genre si je le restarte là maintenant?
Je sais pas si ça restart vraiment, mais.
Achievement. En vrai, achievement, je l'active. Je sais pas.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee.
Second player, parce qu'il est parti du principe que je suis mort. T'as compris? Donc là, si je re-rentre, il va péter un câble. Est-ce qu'on va pas re-rentrer par hasard?
Bien sûr.
J'attends juste voir ce qu'il va dire.
You can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Oh, rentre peut-être.
When the game... Attends, voilà. Then we play... I mean, after season... Ouais, voilà.
Ok, rage avec ça.
Attends, on va y aller jusqu'au bout, hein. Ok, donc là, je ressors. Pour là, on est même plus humain, là. Celui qui joue, là, c'est un chimpanzé, tu vois. Quoi, si je... Faudrait que je restart?
Je pense.
Ouais. Mec. En soi, on n'est pas très loin.
Ouais.
Attends, je save au cas où. Vu qu'il y a une... Ah ok, faut juste que je clique.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Pardon.
J'ai même pas entendu ce que t'as fait.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
On dirait dans une dispute, quand tu lâches ta bombe, tu sais, et que lui il est là, tu l'entends parler, parler, parler. Et que tu fais, bah, tu sais quoi, tu sais quoi, tu sais quoi, moi je vais rien dire, et toi je te laisse parler, tu vois. Incroyable. Allez, me trahis pas, 67%. Et là, donc, oups. Kinetic Summon, if the player attempt to enter the room a third time. Donc ça veut dire là
La
si je...
quatrième fois, je pense.
Hein?
Pas la quatrième fois si tu fais. Ah, mais sur Star, genre.
Ouais, c'est juste pour être sûr. Ah bah bro, eh, on est plus à ça de près, hein.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a
Eh, il a changé, il change ce qu'il vient de dire là.
Ah,
painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
C'est vrai, on était dedans. Là, bah ouais, ok. Quoi, à force de le faire, je regarde même plus. Mais c'est incroyable le travail qu'on même donné.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
alors toujours impressionné les jeux comme ça, genre
Yet there was
résolution.
not a single person here
Indépendant,
either.
tout seul.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an
Il
answer
a pété
there.
un câble. C'est notre ma mère. Je pense qu'il y a juste plein de fans
Coming
différents.
to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Et on
office.
suit ce qu'il dit, comme ça. Comme ça.
Donc on suit, mais juste j'ai envie de descendre un peu pour voir ce qu'il dit. Ok, non, c'est pas ça. Il veut pas, il veut pas. Oh ouais. Le boss il fait peur, hein.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Mais où 2845? Il a dit derrière le bureau? C'est où qu'il a dit ça?
Voilà.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Ah mais où? Il va nous insulter. En plus là j'ai...
2845.
Ça, c'est... Ah, c'est là, peut-être.
Ah putain! Est-ce qu'on est con? Il va pas nous insulter là le mec?
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Ça va se passer avec sa mère. Il est trop con pour le faire.
Moi ça m'a tué parce qu'il a fait mais putain de... Et puis tout d'un coup, ça, il a craqué. Incroyable.
Il est trop fort. Vas-y, mais tout pour vrai.
Pour genre, voir s'il allait dire et comme par hasard c'est maintenant que tu le fais, tu vois.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Elle est allumée. Donc il faut que j'appelle le 914.
Ah.
Ok, bah... Dès qu'il...
Vas-y, mind control.
Et on est malin.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Je crois qu'il n'y aura que des yeux sur les écrans. Ou ça vient d'un autre jeu.
Now the monitors jumped to life,
Okay, well,
their
so-
true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Man, nothing.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
C'est où? Merde.
No. He refused to believe
Deux,
it.
quatre, sept.
He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
On dirait qu'on
Had he
descend.
truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
C'est quoi le numéro?
Quoi?
Il y a 10. Il y a un truc là.
Ouais, mais ça, c'est après, on doit avoir un code.
19.
Un numéro d'appel, là.
9, 14. Je sais pas. 1, 2. 4. Peut-être c'est pour après.
Sûrement.
1, 4, 0, 1. Je sais pas. On va voir ça. Oh là là, imagine tu joues sur cet écran là.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this
Enregistre.
horrible place and to everything it stood for.
On. Ça donne trop envie, hein. Depuis tout le début, on a fait que suivre ce qu'il dit, mais là, on va pas l'écouter.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood.
Il
You're
ult.
gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Ça c'est quoi?
Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it
That's
that you
it,
have
Juan.
no idea where you're
Il va
going
mettre plus
or
de
what
temps, il
you're
a mis 2
supposed to be
secondes en
doing
plus.
right now?
2
Or
secondes?
did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons.
Tu dois mettre là-bas.
These
Non,
colored
dans les
ones.
chiffres
Or
où
maybe
t'es
this
allé
big
avant.
red button.
Derrière.
Or this
Derrière.
door. Everything, anything, something here will save me.
Où?
Encore,
What do you
encore.
think that's,
Là?
Stanley?
Là, oui.
That this
Je dois
video
faire
Tu dois
quoi?
mettre que des verts.
beaten? One soul?
Pourquoi vert?
Do you
Vert,
have
parce qu'il y a là-bas, il y
any
avait, je pense.
idea what your purpose in this place is?
Tu veux pas payer?
Non.
Regarde sur les tableaux là.
You're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. to see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy.
Comprends pas.
You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Ah ouais, le bâtard. Par contre, pour la désactiver, mec... Oh, il y a des papiers partout.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Quoi?
J'ai réécrit dessus, je suis pas allé dedans. Tu sauvegardes, mais tu peux pas aller dedans. Comment tu veux que j'aille dedans?
What could it mean?
Et combien de fins? 2 heures. T'as envie de faire une nouvelle fin?
Vas-y, on fait une dernière.
Parce que là, j'ai eu ma dose, quoi.
Stanley decided to
Ça
go
se
to the
finit
meeting
jamais.
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
La mise de mes mains.
Ah, je peux fermer toutes les portes. Ah, mais pas celle-là. Pourquoi il y a que... Ouais.
Vas-y, fais la fin où il fait tout ce qu'il dit.
When Stanley came to a set of
Vas-y.
2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a...
Mec,
Vol.
je crois qu'il a pété un câble, là, le codeur.
Ah,
Il a pété un câble.
Magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly
arrête de
strange.
tourner en rond, ça fait mal à la tête.
I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Moi,
Ah,
j'aime.
je te plante.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.